Hello everyone. In this video I will tell you about hemostasis and blood coagulation. Hemostasis is the prevention of blood loss after an injury. The mechanism of hemostasis includes first, vascular constriction, second, platelet plug formation and blood clot formation. So let's first go to the vascular constriction. As soon as the blood vessel ruptures or it is traumatized, the smooth muscles of vessel wall contract and this reduces blood loss from ruptured vessel. The reasons for vascular constriction include first, local myogenic spasm due to vessel damage, second, local autocyte factors secreted from traumatized tissue, the vascular epithelium and the platelets, and third, the neural reflex due to pain impulse from the injured vessel or adjacent injured tissue. The thromboxane A2 secreted by platelets is a vasoconstrictor. So this thromboxane A2 will cause vasoconstriction. Now more severe the injury, greater is the vasoconstriction, and this spasm can last for minutes to hours. So the vessel can remain contracted for a long time, and in this time the platelet plug forms and blood coagulation will also start. The second step after vasoconstriction is platelet plug formation. A very small cut in blood vessel may be sealed entirely by the platelet plug. So after a vessel is injured, the platelet contact the damaged tissue, especially the collagen that is being exposed to the blood, and this leads to a change in the shape of the platelets. So what is the change? They swell and they become irregular in shape with numerous pseudopods. These platelets now secrete active factors for adhesion to the collagen, and meanwhile von Willebrand factor, that is VWF, leaks into this traumatized tissue from the plasma, and platelet surface glycoprotein binds to this von Willebrand factor. Now the platelets secrete increased amount of ADP and platelet activating factor and thromboxane A2, and these will activate more platelets nearby which will adhere to the platelet already adhering in the traumatized tissue. Thus more and more platelets are activated which will adhere to each other at the site of injury, and thus they will form a platelet plug. The third step in hemostasis is blood coagulation. So the blood clot formation begins in 15 to 20 seconds after a severe trauma, but 1 to 2 minutes after a minor trauma. So the blood coagulation or the blood clot formation is earlier in a severe injury as compared to a minor injury. The clotting process is initiated by activator substances from traumatized vessel and platelets and blood proteins adhering to the traumatized vessel wall. So within 3 to 6 minutes of trauma, the entire opening is filled with clot if the vessel opening is not too large, and after 20 to 60 minutes, the clot retracts and thus it closes the vessel still more. The mechanism of blood coagulation includes 3 steps. First is formation of prothrombin activator, second is conversion of prothrombin into thrombin, and third is conversion of fibrinogen into fibrin. So let's start with the formation of prothrombin activator, and this is achieved via 2 pathways. An intrinsic pathway which begins with the injury to blood and exposure of blood to collagen of vessel wall, or through extrinsic pathway which begins with trauma to the surrounding tissue. In both the pathways, the inactive clotting factors are activated which successively produce prothrombin activator. So let's now go to the extrinsic pathway. In extrinsic pathway, after trauma, extravascular tissue releases tissue factors or tissue thromboplastin, which contains phospholipids and lipoprotein complex, and this acts as a proteolytic enzyme. So the tissue factor activates clotting factor 8, and the lipoprotein part complexes with this activated factor 8. The activated factor 8 lipoprotein complex along with calcium activates factor 10. The activated factor 10 combines with phospholipid part of the tissue factor, and this complex combines with inactive factor 5 in the presence of calcium to form prothrombin activator. And this prothrombin activator in the presence of calcium activates prothrombin into thrombin. And once clotting begins and thrombin starts to form, the proteolytic action of thrombin activates factor 5. So once activated, the factor 5 is a strong accelerator of prothrombin activation. Let's now go to the intrinsic pathway. It begins with trauma to blood or exposure of blood to collagen from the traumatized blood vessel walls. This trauma leads to activation of factor 12, which is proteolytic, and also release of platelet phospholipids and tissue thromboplastin as platelets are damaged. The activated factor 12 in presence of high molecular weight kininogen activates factor 11, which in turn activates factor 9 in the presence of calcium. The factor 8, which activates in the presence of thrombin along with factor 9, platelet phospholipid and tissue thromboplastin, that is factor 3, activates factor 10. This step is compromised if there is a deficiency of factor 8 or platelets. For example, hemophilia is caused in absence of factor 8 and thrombocytopenia due to deficiency of platelets. Now, same as an extrinsic pathway, the activated factor 10 along with factor 5 and platelet tissue phospholipid forms the prothrombin activator complex. So this last step is the common pathway between intrinsic and extrinsic pathway. The second step in blood coagulation is conversion of prothrombin into thrombin. The prothrombin activator formed in first step splits prothrombin into thrombin in the presence of calcium, and this thrombin then converts fibrinogen into fibrin fibers in the third step. Let me now tell you a few points about prothrombin. Prothrombin is a plasma protein of alpha-2 globulin family. It has a molecular weight of about 68,700. Its plasma concentration is about 15 mg per deciliter. It is an unstable protein that easily splits into thrombin. It is formed by liver continuously, and vitamin K is required by liver for normal formation of prothrombin and other clotting factors. The other factors requiring vitamin K are factors 7, 9 and 10 apart from prothrombin. So lack of vitamin K or liver disease can result in bleeding tendencies. The third step in blood coagulation is conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin and formation of a clot. Fibrinogen is the first clotting factor, and it is formed in liver and has a high molecular weight of about 3,40,000. Its plasma concentration is about 100 to 700 mg per deciliter. Thrombin formed in the second step is weakly proteolytic, and it acts on fibrinogen to form fibrin by removing 4 low molecular weight peptides from each fibrinogen molecule. In the early stage, the fibrin monomers are held together by weak hydrogen bonds, and platelets are trapped in these weak clot. These platelets secrete fibrin stabilizing factor, which is activated by thrombin. So this activated fibrin stabilizing factor replaces the hydrogen bond with covalent bonds, and the clot becomes strong along with cross linkage of fibrin monomers. So a strong clot is formed. This blood clot is composed of meshwork of fibrin and it entraps blood cells, platelets and plasma. The blood clot is adherent as fibrin adheres to the damaged vessel surface. The next step is clot retraction. So few minutes after formation, the clot begins to contract, which also results in expression of serum from the clot. The platelets are necessary for clot retraction. So what they do is they activate platelet thrombasthenin, actin and myosin, which are contractile proteins. So these contractile proteins would lead to contraction. So thrombin and calcium activate and accelerate the contraction of blood clot. So the blood clot once formed stimulates more blood clot formation until bleeding ceases, and this is called positive feedback of the clot formation. Let me now enumerate the different clotting factors. So in total there are 13 clotting factors, starting from the first: fibrinogen, prothrombin, thromboplastin or the tissue factor. The fourth one is calcium, then labile factor or proacelerin. The sixth factor is unknown as its presence has not been proved. Seventh one is stable factor, then anti-hemophilic factor, then Christmas factor, Stewart-Prover factor, plasma thromboplastin antecedent factor, then Hageman factor, which is contact factor, and the last one is the fibrin stabilizing factor. That's all for now. I hope the mechanism of blood clot formation is a bit easier to understand with this video. So take care guys, and don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you.